Here is your game 5 Slayer.
All right, game 5.
Trippy gets the first kill. Stella gonna be challenging everyone. And challenge he does successfully.
Takes the positioning at the B box.
It looks like Stella might spot out Lucid who had it.
Kill anyone trying to leave A.
Trades either side, but Lucid
Beginning of this game's really close. I think not enough people are going for this repulsor on this map anymore, like in lower level ELOs, but the repulsor is the best equipment in the game right now. So whenever you guys have a chance to pick it up, definitely do so. Lucid obviously going to use it as much as possible. It's really good back here. We're going to see a lot during this game, people using the stickies that spawn here to do where you throw a sticky and then repulse it immediately. Increases the odds that you stick somebody with it. But this play from Penguin is massive. So if he knows Lucid got away blue here, let's watch this. So right here, Stellar spots Lucid. And they know he has camo. And so he's calling out blue pipes right here, right? And then Stellar goes to C plat. Eco gets a kill in the kill feed. Lucid's one of the only players left on his team. And he doesn't have many options, right? If you think about the layout of the map, if he's back blue pipes, he's going to go C plat to either long haul or tower, right? And because Space Station knows the game plan of Optic to take space off their spawn point, Penguin is already here because he's imagining Lucid's route right now. He's imagining, okay, if he went back blue pipes, he's either going to come in here and I can backsmack him, or he's going to go long haul. So if he doesn't see Lucid, he knows that Lucid's long haul, and if he sees Lucid, he might be able to just kill him. So this is a huge heads-up play by Penguin right here.
Another example for you. How does he play this? Penguin knows he's there. Look at this 1v1 here. Penguin's looking.
Missing that jump is like a big part of why he died. Eco also sitting in this corner. He's watching in case like Lucid makes it here somehow without Penguin spotting him. He would see him as well. And then Penguin gets the kill. Eco immediately grabs the repulse. They know that because all of this is happening over here, the rest of Optic spawned either gold or A. So then this is the next part that I love the most from Space Station. They decide to just turtle at C because they have the lead and they almost have no reason to push.
But he still converts and he shuts down the
Bound does go into A to try to take some space on this side so Optic can't just go A for free. I think it's in this next play that they end up at C and just stay there.
Screams from the crowd for Penguin. No surprise with a play like that. Now you've got Formal with all the responsibility on his shoulders here for Optic Gaming. The power weapon is in his hands.
He's just wasting ammo by peeking that.
That doesn't connect for a Space Station. It means more ammo is going to be used. It means that shock is less effective.
SSG just playing like defense against both sides here, basically. Because they don't really have a reason to push. You can just hold space and gatekeep Optic from going anywhere. Look at Bound, dude. Dude, Bound is doing a different thing every time he goes through this doorway. He just like, sometimes he peeks his head out, sometimes he's like, he's sliding out. He's just fucking with him right here, honestly. He's mixing it up, right? He crouches on the box that time. This time he slides out. He's just teasing him.
I don't think Formal's enjoying it, to be honest. It's just like that Argyle CTF. We said both teams.
His little plays like made enough space for them to then push on C. So they recognize like, hey, Formal's by himself in gold. And they might assume that there's another player in gold. So then they're like, okay, let's just leave A and collapse on the guys that are trying to extend into C. So they just go this way and they collapse. They collapse on these guys at C. I think they know APG escaped bottom mid. And then they decide to just go back to C here because they're assuming that you know, Optic is spawning here in gold or A. And they're like, okay, now let's just all chill at C. There's no reason for them to move now. And this is the way the meta is developed in these teams right now is SSG and FaZe have recognized that Optic's weakness is pushing into a setup. Optic's very good at holding a setup, and if you fall into their traps over and over, that's how they win their games. But when they're on the losing team, on the score line, and you force them to push you, you're forcing them to do something that's not one of their strong suits. They're forcing a weakness out of Optic, which is big brain. You could even hear in one of the other games Renegade saying, "We're playing against Optic. They suck at pushing. Let's just sit still." And both teams taking advantage of Optic's weakness to the fullest now.
Looks like Bound had some grenades just to slow that push down, but you can
And I actually really love the way that they're playing this. Think about any way that Optic has to get into their space. There's just little doorways, and they can just bait every doorway. They know Lucid just got, or they know that they just got the camo as well. So they're just gonna hold sidelines and watch doorways. And no matter which way Optic chooses to go in, they're gonna get double teamed or beat to death by melees. So they're just sitting in here waiting. Dude, I love the crowd. Crowd's losing it. Bound gets the remote detonation. And like, yes, they get these two, but it's still a positive trade for Space Station.
Camo nil, as it's 12-6 here to Space Station. They negate the power up for the second time in this game.
All right, and now that they won this fight, and Camo's off the map, I think they can start to spread out here if they wanted to, but they also don't need to. They can just continue to play this game. Because when you have the lead, the closer the timer gets to 0, the better it is for your team. This is just a fundamental part of like all games, right? If there's a clock involved and you have the lead, you control the pace of the game. And Space Station knows this. They said there's no reason for us to get aggressive and push and potentially give Optic a chance to get into their comfort zone. And that's why they're playing this much slower. And even slower now when Stellar dies. That now they're in a numbers disadvantage. They have 0 reasons to push in this moment. So they're just going to chill.
In Dallas was saying we need to work on our Slayers.
They know that Optic wants to take space on both sides to push into the situation, so they're watching both sides. Thank you for the follow, Conical Satyr.
And now in a game 5, this is where it shows up most. It's 15-7 as Eco gets a double.
And they're just basically making Optic push them. Now they've built a 10-point lead. And they've just been holding C. When have you seen a team ever do this? They're holding C, long haul, and tower.
I got your tunnel, okay?
This is a great insight right here. I've got your tunnel. They're just talking about what sides they're watching.
Keep grabbing the stickies. Listen to me.
They're just picking up the stickies every 30 seconds. After pickup, it's 30 seconds. They're going to control the repulse the whole time. And later, we're going to see how that comes into effect with Eco.
Brayden has shock rifle. Bottom A. Give him info. You can roam around, Brayden. Do whatever you want.
They're nading top cat.
Watching long.
He says, Brayden is Stellar. Said Stellar has shock rifle. Just give him info. Because if the sniper has info about where people are, he's going to get more snipes. He said, Brayden, you can do whatever you want, and they're just going to play off of what he does. He's just camping this corner with the plasma pistol. Gets a free kill. Gets that nade was huge. They're just holding all this space perfectly and baiting Optic into bad pushes constantly.
Nice. Brayden might chase me. He's blue tunnel on me.
Now up by 13.
Okay. One shot mid-bridge. Oh my god, nice.
Love the oh my god. That's just like any hype in the chat can get your teammates hyped up. Thanks for the follow, random guy.
Ballage.
Yo, bottom mid, AP. Yeah, he's weak. Orange short.
Yo, on shock. R2.
That's weak.
L2 weak.
Top right.
So now they can play kind of like a trades game. Up by this much, like if you just trade out the rest of the game, you win the game. But they also don't have to force anything. So right here, you hear Elamite say, we can just hold shock the rest of the game. We don't even need to put it on spawn because he's recognizing that they've had so much success just holding this side of the map. And the only win condition for Optic to get back into this in this moment that he can think of is them getting the next shock rifle and then going on a tear. But he says, you know what? Let's not even give them that opportunity. Let's just hold the shock. If we don't waste the last round of ammo in it, then it'll never respawn.
At ledge weak.
We stop shock.
I'm
on you, Brayden. I'm here.
We
can hold shock the rest of the game. We don't even need to put on spawn.
One guy. Yeah. Facts. Wait, don't waste the last.
Facts.
I have 12 bullets. Okay. Just don't waste
I'm
last.
sitting top glass.
One's ballot.
They're recognizing like where they're going. Bounce says I'm sitting top glass. The shush thing, I am wondering if he was shushing in this moment because he thought that because they were on a listen in that it was possible that Optic could hear it over the loudspeaker because the crowd can hear the listen in right now. So I don't know what the sound situation was in the room, but this shush to me told me that perhaps the sound guy or whatever the situation was that the other team could potentially hear the listen in.
Shock the rest of the game. We don't even need to put on spawn.
One guy. Yeah. Facts. Wait, don't waste the last bullet then. Don't waste last. I have 12 bullets. Okay. Just don't waste last.
I'm sitting top glass.
One's ballot.
Yo, listen, we're not watching body.
See, that's Elamite saying shush, and I think he's wearing his headset with one ear off and one ear in the comms, and he's like, wait a second, the other team could probably hear us, so they're trying to like talk maybe a little bit quieter.
Top glass, top glass, watch out.
So they don't want to give away their location to Optic.
Watch out, top glass.
Take your time.
You're just sitting there, one shot. Can you nade it?
Yeah, I'm nading it. Red stairs.
I think they're going.
It's like the meta outside of the game, right?
They're gonna be long. Nice.
How many?
Go away. Nice. We're good.
Okay, so I love the call from Bound to say go A because like he died glass and he recognized that they pushed all the way out here to kill him, which means A should be a much safer place to be right now. So that's why he said just go A because now they know they're not going to face much pressure if there's two enemies over here, and Stellar just got 2 kills, so A should be free to go right now.
We're good. I'm watching APG and Trippy.
They decided to not go A right away, which is going to lead to the other team potentially spawning like Dorito here. Okay, so bounce spawn pipe, so they're actually going to recognize that there's probably an enemy in A here, I would guess. Okay, no, they're all long haul. It's actually strange that bounce spawn pipes here without anyone being in A, but now they're all trapped in long haul and they can just play defense against us very easily. Eco just doing damage and like drawing attention to himself. Eco, by the way, hasn't died yet. He's 7-0.
Nice, another one.
APG weak.
Yeah, now they're just collapsing on both sides of long haul. APG has no escape option.
SSG sounding good. The scoreline looks even better for them. Optic do not have an answer at the moment. And Eco...
Great shots from Eco.
8-0 in a game 5.
You cannot let it happen. He is yet to be killed.
By the way, I'm going to be clipping this for my YouTube. That's why I'm not talking to chat very much right now. Because I'm planning to like cut this out. But I'll just pause this and then I'll cut this part out of the video to talk to chat real quick. Yeah, what's up, Hybrid? Bound made him burn so much ammo. Yeah, that was really sick the way he was playing that. This big troll. Yo, what's up, Sleevey? Big difference between year 1 and 2. Teams figure out Optic now. Optic needs to adapt. Yep. Literally just rallying around Stellar's absurd gameplay. Yep. Heard about your analysis of gameplay. I'm happy to follow. Let's go. Big change to red rack weapons has shifted the game towards controlling rather than ripping through maps. Yeah, facts. Feels like Lucy's been having a lot of trouble popping off. He's still one of the best players in the game, but people play slow against Optic and Lucy gets shut down now. Yeah, I think they're really focusing on killing him. Eco best IGL, he very well could be. So in year 1, all of the pros and coaches got sent a survey by HCS to ask who they thought the MVP was, like the best overall player. And my vote was Eco in season 1. Lucid ended up winning it. He got the most votes, but I think Eco is, it's insane how good he is. He just plays like perfect fundamental Halo, perfect IGL. He's got the biggest brain on the stage most of the time. All right, let's get back into this. I'm probably not going to talk to chat till the game's over.
Do not have an answer at the moment. And Eco is 8-0.
Huge piv win by Eco here.
You cannot let it happen. He is yet
He's got, he recognized that he picked up the stickies and he has the repulse still.
Chant erupts in the room for good reason. They have more than double the score of their opponents.
Right here, he throws a sticky and repulses it. which makes the sticky travel in a straight line. Tries to do it again there.
What a stick repulse onto APG top tower. This man is doing it, and he is doing it with style.
If you guys aren't currently doing that in your game, practice it against bots. It's highly satisfying. And at this point, I mean, with a 16-point lead, they're going to start playing a bit faster because they can afford to, and they want to deny resources to Optic. The Optic got the shock rifle and the camo, which is one of their only win conditions to come back into this, but it's almost impossible to come back this much.
To maybe drag Optic back into the game, but it's going to have to be the run of all runs from him. He needs to hit every shot. It's as simple as that. And he cannot afford to go down while he's doing it. SSG not showing once more, though. SSG refusing to give him that chance. There's one, though.
Very good patience there. A lot of people would just shoot too early right there.
And he almost gets 4 as well. It's 4 dead for SSG.
So I want to talk about this moment here. When he's got camo, he can afford to like wait just a little bit to make sure the shot connects.
He needs to hit every shot. It's as simple as that.
It's really important to not panic in these situations. A lot of people would
to go down while he's doing it. SSG not showing once more, though.
Would maybe shoot too early. Like as soon as these guys show up on their screen,
SSG
might panic. But look at him waiting. He's recognized the shock rifle. To get a perfect kill, you have to have the reticle on their head throughout the 3 bursts of the shock. And like if he tried to shoot any sooner than this when Bound was moving too fast, he would not get the perfect kill. So he waits, lines it up, and then hits it. And then repositions up here while his camo comes back.
There's 2. There's 3.
They're not expecting it. Stellar probably thought he was still at the bottom of the tower. So great plays from Lucid here.
A glimmer of hope in this game 5.
And you have to think that's exactly what Optic was looking for earlier in the game when it was only a 5-kill difference. Still now a 12-kill difference.
So right here, he's still got 1 shot left, but Optic really needs to take better positioning if they're going to actually get a full collapse on this. Trippy does make a great play. You notice how Optic goes in several entry points into gold at the same time. They're not going to let Space Station just turtle up in pipes like this. Lucid's watching the outside, so if anybody leaves gold, he's trying to keep his eyes over here as much as possible. Trippy jumps up bat ledge at the same time that APG's going in. Looks like gold top gold. Trippy somehow gets a double kill here. I think he used a plasma pistol. Stellar jumps out to try to finish the kill, but Lucid's watching all the exits. And now they're already ready for the next set of spawners, right? Like, yeah, so they just killed their whole team, but they know that the first 2 they killed were staggered from the second 2. So what they're going to try to do now is take space around the map that force the rest of the team, force them to spawn A here. They already know it's most likely they spawn to A. It's slightly likely, or like slightly possible they spawn C, but A is the most likely spawn at this point because Lucid was just trip stacks. So his like general aura was blocking spawns in that region while his teammates are all pushing gold. A is the natural, obvious place to predict the spawn to go next. So because they know that, they're going to send players to watch all of these doorways and essentially watch any exit points from A and gatekeep them from getting anywhere. Eco knows that his teammates just died in gold, so as the first spawner, he wants to take the tower before Optic does, because if Optic gets in the tower and they already have gold, then he knows him and all of his teammates are just going to get pinched and die at A. So he has a short window of time that he can take space adjacent to the spawn point so that the collapse is a lot harder for Optic. If he just sat still in A and waited for his teammates to spawn, they would just undoubtedly all go 4 dead again because Optic knows how to play into that situation. Also, by spreading out, Eco is now influencing his teammates to spawn in this direction as well. So he could have teammates that spawn both behind him in A and in front of him at C. Formal is already pushing into A to try to find spawners in A. Because Eco makes it out and does some damage, he stops the push early, and look at that, he gets the rest of his team to spawn at C instead, which is now going to make it harder for Optic to collapse on.
And it's still 2 full rounds of slays required.
They push all the way out to the long haul. They're still holding forward.
Out just yet. And game 5 is back in action.
Like Eco's play here, people don't realize how good it is. He doesn't get a kill out of it, doesn't show up in the scoreline, but he took space and dealt damage. He kept his team from getting collapsed on.
Trippy's trying to hunt down Eco, and Eco, who had the most phenomenal, the most
Crazy
perfect
comeback
start
by
to the
Optic,
game
by the way. They were down by
you could
what,
ever
like
ask for,
17
going
kills at one
10-0
point?
before finally getting taken down. Keeps contributing here towards the success of SSG.
And this last camo kind of solidifies the game in some ways. Like, I kind of think Optic would have needed to get this camo if they were going to bring it back, these other 9-kill deficit here.
They've got it now, and Bound, the man we watched the documentary on, might be the man to add another chapter to his story.
And you have to think it might have been too little too late for Optic Gaming. You can't let it become a 17-kill lead like we saw for Space Station.
Yeah,
And
now he's
sure,
just
Optic's brought this
taking
back down to
space.
44-36.
You see how he's moving cautiously. He's trying to identify where Optic is.
I'm looking for info.
Patience to get the nade shot. Massive right there.
And here comes the push.
Yeah, and now as soon as SSG wins the neutral stage, which means they got the first kill, now they can more comfortably try to collapse and kill the rest of the spawners. Even if they trade out the rest of the game, they win because they're only 5 kills from finishing.
SSG, this could be the one that
So they're just like Bound just playing his life really well here, dealing damage,
Oh my, gets
staying alive.
47-38, 3 kills to go for SSG to perform the reverse sweep.
Now he's just gonna basically bait this spot. He knows they can't really push. They're gonna have to be very cautious. They only need 3 kills to win.
In SLC, SSG fans want
Reverse sweep chance in the crowd. He decides to like look at this guy, but his teammate's here, so he can just back up. Just getting 1 burst on the guy, but he took 2 bursts, so he's like, okay, I lose this fight, I back up. It's really important to recognize early in the fight that you're losing the engagement and to just completely disengage. If you get the first 2 shots and the guy hasn't hit you yet, then just keep shooting him because you're going to win the fight. But if they're up in the fight or it's even, it's usually best to back down. You don't want to take a coin flip if your teammate's right there to finish off a kill that you start.
And they're playing this so smart. They know they only need to push if they have the advantage. Otherwise, it's such an enormous
Now the
lead.
clock
There's
is
no
starting to
reason
come into
even
play.
apply pressure.
Yeah, there's no reason to apply pressure. Like Bravo said, I mean, where there's only 3 minutes left, they could just kind of bait the other team to come to them. They have a huge lead, so the closer they get to the finish line, the better.
Let's go over to the POV. Show me Stella. Show me Stella right now.
The crowd likes it. They already saw what Stellar could do. Does not trade, though.
Even though he just got some damage, that's all that really matters.
2 to go for SSG.
You know that if they just trade out this damage, they win. And I think, yeah, APG just can't get away. Such a good game by SSG, but it really was the beginning of the game, how patiently they played when they were at C and just kind of baited Optic into their setup and gave Optic no opportunity to do anything. They controlled the stickies, the repulse. They didn't get neurotic and try to push out space when it didn't make sense. They played their lead and they held their lead throughout the whole game. So honestly, some of the best Halo I've ever seen out of Space Station. But that is my breakdown of Game 5 in the SSG series. I hope you guys enjoyed the analysis and can take some of these tips to improve your own game. So I want to say thank you for watching, and y'all enjoy the rest of your day. All right, we're gonna have to practice the way to end the YouTube videos, guys. But I think that was a solid one. I'll go clip that later and put it up on YouTube. Thanks for all the follows, guys. Noxious Blaze, Sleevey, Sunoob. Thanks for the sub, Ruby. Appreciate you. You the man for that. Especially smart online with desync. Yeah, just play safe for Halo, right? Thanks for watching, Ninja Vanish. Yeah, maybe I'll have to